Hi everyone, this is my AT implementation plan. The school that I based this on did not have any AT technology information posted on their website. And I even talked to my co op that I had last semester, and she informed me that there is no AT specialist in the school. However, during my time in the classroom there, I did notice a few AT devices or tools in the classroom, such as the standing desk, text to speech options, speech to text options, and a lot of our other low tech AT devices that we've talked throughout this semester. However, the biggest weakness I'm noticing with the school is that there's no clear emphasis on integrating AT into the classroom. There's no focus on it during the IEP meetings or anything like that. The student profile that I created for this assignment is Joseph is a 12-year-old boy in seventh grade who has high functioning autism. He is friendly, curious, and enjoys learning about science and sports. He struggles with his communication, organization, and independence within the school environment. Joseph works hard in class and demonstrates a strong understanding of concepts when information is presented verbally and visually. He enjoys participating in hands-on activities and collaborative projects with his peers. Joseph learned best in structured environments with clear routines and expectations. He is able to understand grade level content, but often struggles to communicate his wants, needs, and feelings effectively. When he becomes frustrated or overwhelmed, he completely disengages by keeping his head down and not responsive to anyone. Navigating the large middle school building is also a challenge for Joseph. He sometimes becomes anxious during class transitions, especially when the hallways are crowded and noisy. He often gets lost en route to his next class, which causes him to be late. In the classroom, Joseph has difficulty taking notes while listening to instruction. Joseph benefits from visual supports, repetition, and opportunities to review information at his own pace. He is motivated to be independent and successful in school, but requires additional support to communicate effectively, navigate the school environment confidently, and access classroom instruction. So the first task I want to focus on is the transition in between classes. So the tool that I created to help Joseph get from class to class is creating a schedule that also has a map attached to it for Joseph. So he carries around a string bag every day, and in that backpack, he will have these two laminated sheets. I made an example for what his A-day schedule would look like, and it shows him exactly where he's starting, what class he's in, what's his teacher's name, the room number, and then where he's going to go to after block one. So, for example, block one, he would start and it tells him the time. And he knows in the morning he has a para help him get to first block, and at the end of the day, from fourth block to dismissal, he has a para. So he will arrive to first block with his para, but the transition from first block to second block, he can follow the map and he can use his sheet to help him navigate upstairs to his math class. My justification for using this is the transition map will help Joseph navigate the school without relying on his teacher or his paras or his peers to get him there, and also kind of be a safety blanket for him to help him while he could be nervous, anxious in the hallway with lots of other people and get confused at where he's going. The implementation plan for this would first to start with collaborating with teachers to design the map and the route that we think would be best for Joseph to take. This way, he can always be passing his locker, so he can grab materials for the next class. The most important part is this, and this part would be the teachers collaborating how to make sure that Joseph is taking out his sheet before the bell rings to help him start the transition smoothly. After that step, it would go to bringing in the family and asking for their support, and talking to them about the strategy in place and seeing if they have any suggestions or anything they would like to add to best support their child. The third step would be introducing it to Joseph, and showing him and helping him navigate using the map and using the schedule and getting him in that routine. So it'd be best off to start on a Monday. This way he has the entire week to start practicing and using the map provided. And then he would have, let's say it's an A-day week, he would have 3 A-days and 2 B-days, and he would be able to practice using the map. To evaluate for success, the way we would do this would be the teachers would be responsible for filling out a log sheet, which on the sheet would collect different data, as if did he arrive on time, and when he was arriving, did he have his sheet with him? And then as it continues to progress, is he taking out his sheet without being reminded by a teacher to take the sheet out? The second task I would like to look at is expressing his wants and needs in the moments when he shuts down. To do that, I created two communication boards, one which is more about what he's feeling, and the other one what he needs or what he wants in that moment. Again, these will also be laminated and put in his string bag so he has access to them at any point in time. The justification for this is the communication board is a strong assistive technology tool that allows him to express his wants, needs, and feelings when he's feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, and just disengaged and not wanting to respond. A lot of times when he shuts down, he knows what he wants and knows what he needs, but he just physically can't say it. So being able to just point at what he needs will allow the teacher to understand where he's coming from and also allow him to get out his feelings. The implementation plan for this would be to collaborate with teachers and the family right away to create the board of the options that they think are best appropriate to be on the board for him. This way he can get access to everything that he needs. The second step would be to introduce it to Joseph. And the best way I think to introduce this would be in a moment where he is disengaged. So to place it on his desk as an option for him to look at and say, hey, I know maybe not right now, you're not ready to physically communicate, but why don't you look and point at what you're feeling or what you need? And then kind of slowly introducing it from there. The way we would then after the first use of it, we would check in and say to Joseph, did you like the strategy of using the choice board? Did you felt like there was an option on there that best related to what you needed and what you needed in that moment? And collaborating with him and continuing to remind him that this is a great way to help your teachers and your peers surrounding you where you're at and what you need to be successful. The way we would evaluate to see if this tool is successful is looking at how Joseph responds and interacts with the tool when he's in his moment of disengagement. Is he pulling out the tool himself? Is it the teacher's pulling it out? How is that looking? And if we see that Joseph is the one to pull it out and communicate with it without being prompted, then we know that it is successful and is something that should be continued to be used. The third task I'd like to look at is using the audio recorder to take his note to help him take notes in the moments when he is being so instead of having to take notes at the same time and focus on the lesson, he's able to just focus on the lesson, take everything he needs from the lesson, and then write down the notes later on, or even use the audio recording to help him with his homework. So the one that I found would support him the best is the Sony digital recorder. It's lightweight, it's reliable. There's different features on there, especially the one that reduces the crowd noise, you could say the classroom noise, and would really isolate the teacher's voice. The justification for this, again, it would just be a tool that helps him to listen back to his notes and maybe even retake his notes after the lesson, but really allows him to just focus on the instruction at hand and then worry about taking notes later on. And then also it's great for him to have for when he's home doing homework or studying for tests and exams. The implementation for this would be to integrate it into the classroom, having the teachers start using the recording and making sure that the family's okay with Joseph using this, and also making sure the family is using it at home. So this is where we can use the help of the para to make sure that every day he's taking his recorder home, and the parents can help out by making sure he's using it at home. We would then introduce it to Joseph and have a mix of times where he's using it, where he's not using it, the teacher showing him how to use it, and then we would check in with Joseph to make sure that he is using it at home, check in with the family, make sure that he's using it at home. And if we kind of start seeing his grades increase, then we know that it is successful and is something that should be continued to be used in the classroom. I want to say thank you for listening to my presentation, and I really hope you enjoyed it.